You're low, but I can hear you.
Okay.
And you're single.
Okay, good.
It's weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but you're really, really low.
Really low. Okay.
You're really, really low, but I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay,
That's
good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've reinstalled this machine too because it was acting weird and stuff. I've been sitting around for like 6 years without doing anything. So
That'll do it.
Yeah, and I rearranged all my. I did need to put my camera up a little bit long and make sure that it's sitting. Yeah, so I have my big new monitor and
awesome.
things are rejigged here and stuff. So yeah.
Came in. That's so fantastic.
Yeah, so I have a 57-inch.
Oh my God.
Monstrosity here now. So I replaced my 3 old screens with one big one. So
holy
jeez. As you stare out at the star-flecked void, another ship comes in. Wait, is this sci-fi?
Cool.
I thought we agreed on a World War II campaign.
Tim will be on. I'm not sure when.
Did we?
Okay, good.
That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke
now I'll talk a little bit about hawktails and casters and stuff. Today, so yeah.
Cool.
I'm writing a.
All right, here's what we're doing. In the year 3700, humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology.
I talked to Brian
with historic tools as weird phenomenon.
Otherwise I would have been maybe able to post it before, but we had a wonderful conversation.
3 strangers will meet in a dim
I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Slayer, a disgraced general
He's
out for
busy with
revenge,
his local
space
gaming
mercenaries
and a bunch
to
of other
investigate
stuff.
the power plants. Now describe your characters.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that? I have the right tools for the job.
Very cool.
Let's see here.
Yeah, we had guests on 3 weeks in a row, so.
Yeah.
What's up, Dragger? Good. Too much going on.
Yeah. Boy, I need to log into chat and all that too.
A story once spoken is ageless. The dungeon imagined without end. The curious are the ones most courageous. The tree that endures has to bend. From stillness the mad mage is stirring. From countless voices the castle takes shape. Zagig will test the enduring.
Okay.
Will never escape.
I think looks good. Hey, Blue Joy. Jonah, what's up? This is a good discussion for no matter what system you're playing. Thinking about how to go outside the box on just hey, here comes a fireball, or here comes a lightning bolt, you know? So, yeah. Awesome. Alright. I think I got all my books ready. In fact, let me move into a chair and I can reach easier. Hey, Lord Forth. Sparky, what's up? I'm doing okay. Doing okay. You know, it's the end of a weekend, so that always sucks, but I think, dude, I may have Rogue playing July 3rd. We'll see. It's Thursday night. Besides, I know the next one out. It's August 2nd, but this will be something a little different. She's available. That'd be cool. All right. Squeaky chair. Alrighty, just getting settled here. Whew. My oh my. Move this over here. What's up, my morph?
I like Gamescape 3D. I like the logo and stuff. It looks great.
Yeah, you updated it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love the miniatures.
They're doing a lot of new stuff. He actually added to that. There's a Gary Con archery school. Put a nice big tower. He put that in the. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like he did a real good job with it too, and it's in this month's his monthly thing, Patreon thing. So, or is it my favorite mini factory, whatever he does. So, 653.
Yeah, Mike got a 3D printer, so now we're dating.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yep. Yeah. So he's starting to experiment with printing things. So now it's like, do you want to print stuff printed? So I can tell you yes. There's like things I would love to do.
Is it a resin or PLA?
I think it's a PLA. It's his first foray into it. So he's more like starting to experiment a bit. Yeah.
That's good though. That's a good start.
Yeah.
They're better for terrain pieces. Over
yeah, you can do a lot of hard plastic that is really, so, but we'll see, yeah.
Very cool.
So I have ideas, we'll see, yeah.
Alrighty. So our good friend here, let's see, where's he? At some point we'll see this that individual, the ever mysterious Tim, but we'll see when that is. So. Throwing some stuff up. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, I'm glad I didn't crash the stream by hitting that. Oh.
Yeah?
I hit something wrong. That would have been good. See, now I remember what I forgot. Later, good to see you. Sorry, I'm chewing on icebreakers.
I'm chewing on popcorn, yep. Popcorn and raspberry lemonade.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's we'll come on a few minutes early, why not?
Yeah, there's a lot of things we can babble
Cheers,
about.
yes, yep. Cheers with some counter dry lemon lime. Is this just lemon lime seltzer? There you go. Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah, I have a big glass of but it's un-American because I don't have a lot of ice in it. So
that's okay.
Yep.
Ice.
Yep.
You're not an ice kind of person, huh? I chew on ice too much, so you know.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I put ice in it, but it gets so watered down after a while because it melts. So
yes, that's why. Back in the day, when I worked at the beer distributor. What's up, Jeremy and Rob? Good to see you. We get the. Anyone remember the 8-ounce, 7 or 8 ounce Miller Lite cans, the pony cans? You get them in a 48 pack. Remember those things? Well, they never went. There were no problem. They stayed cold. So So I would get one of them wherever we were going, and because they're so small, but the 48 packs of of those cans.
Yep.
I don't know if they still do those little mini cans, but we're talking late 80s, so I'm battling now. That's okay.
Yeah, I have my new setup. I have a 57-inch huge enormous screen, so I replaced all my 3 screens with one big one. So yeah,
that's awesome.
And there's more pixels on this one than it was on all 3 of the old ones. Oh yeah,
157. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's 7,860 one way, and then 2,160 one way. So it's 4K this way and
8K that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's nice.
So it's really cool. So it's very sharp, and it's not as big as the 3 were, but it's much more pixels, and it's really cool to have one big screen that you can share things. So yeah, but I still have the old streaming computer that I'm doing this on. So yeah.
Good to see you all. So quickie announcements. This will be for Wednesday. We will be. We'll be talking about this on our 300 Legends of Lore. Grey Grimoire issue 5 will be out.
Okay? I hope that I got my issue before then. So, yeah, so I can read it.
Well, I got a copy. I'm not allowed to share with anyone because they're still editing it. In fact, they're editing it as we speak right now.
I have to bribe Norka with something.
Yeah, Norka and Dewey Carthon are right in the process of editing. Finally, we're finishing this abomination. The 5th sitting of this Lidless Shabbath finale. I'm making sure I'm done this Thursday because I've had enough. So that's Thursday on that, and then next Saturday, the Bone Baddies. It's at 12:30 because Dessa works till 12. So and Stolen Kills, and then of course everyone's looking forward to the 24-hour stream the Saturday after that. So there's so much coming up. With some other announcements too. So all right. Back to the discussion here. So if you saw, and a lot of you did, and thank you, Saturday's game, Mages Everywhere, there were lots of them. Patrick, thanks, man. Man, dude, you're almost to 5 years. Wow, one short of 5 years. Damn.
Wow.
Where'd the time go?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We've been doing this for 5 years.
Wow, we've been doing it for more than that.
Yeah.
Almost 7.
Wow, it's
we started in 2018.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
2018. So yeah.
And I'm doing my Patreon for almost 10 years now. I think I need to have a 10-year anniversary.
You should do something for it. Yeah.
I need to check when I actually have my 10-year anniversary, but I think it's coming up soon.
Can you imagine that? I mean, just this long. You know, if you told me, this is our 359th Gabbin.
Yeah. And we have the 300 Ladies and Lore coming up Wednesday. This is wow.
It's a lot.
And we still have things to talk about. That's the most amazing.
It's my first stream on YouTube. Some of them are. And we were just talking about someone. Hey, Bill, thanks, man.
Because in the beginning you just did like Thursday night game nights. That was
right. And here's the thing. So, and you just talked to this person. A person who kind of set me up with a lot of ideas and also introduced me to the GREYHAWK community.
Oh, you mean Brian Blue?
Yeah, Brian Bloomclots. Okay. And he said to me, he said to me at a certain point, and it was probably 4 months in, why don't you just port over the vids over to YouTube? Then people can watch them afterwards. You don't have to edit them or anything. So that's what I do now, right? With that, and it's been going well. And I don't know, we got like 2,500 people there, but it's good. I mean, you can watch the vid afterwards. Ed vids always do the best, right? Post, but the talk shows do way better than the games, but that's to be expected. People are interested in the talk show content. So, yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thank you. We're trying. We're gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it rolling. Got some ideas of some stuff coming up. May try we'll talk about this. Idea to get some other people into the community too. So I'm working on some things. But always keep them busy. So all right.
Yep.
Oh no, man! Don't watch them all. Some of them are bad. Early ones are really crazy, man. I didn't find my footing for a while.
It takes a long while, and I haven't found my footing. Look at my Friday streams; they're very low key, low tech, just working and stuff. So we'll see.
Our first, if I recall, our first DM's roundtable someone wouldn't connect almost the entire time. It was either Will or Brian was having
I
trouble
wasn't
connecting.
on the first one. I was on the second onwards. So yeah.
I think we have William Henry Dvorak, myself, Brian Bloom, Sublime Brian.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I had a fourth person. I don't think I did. I don't know if Tim was on that one or not. But yeah. Patrick, thanks. Get us over that hype.
Thank you.
So, Saturday's game, which is pretty crazy. Nuclear meat. Mages everywhere. How do I go about with a class that's not used that much? Knowing that, and a new one, or a recent one. How do I know if it works? I throw it against the characters, right? So we had Dark Brotherhood members, and the Dark Brotherhood goes back to the early 80s. Here we are right here in this field here. So if we come, and these are all my classes for my campaign. We come down here, here's your standard mage, right? And you got Wild Mage, Elementalist, and this is where we're not going to do GREYHAWK Mage tonight. That deserves its own, But we'll hit these others, Shadow Mage too, Shadow, Necromancer, but mostly Wild Mage and Elementalist tonight on the discussion. So, they are the best play testers. Now, this should be for any game system. I know for a fact Rob, Phantom NJ, is making up Elementalists for Castles and Crusades, which is cool. So, take it with it as you wish. Have fun with it and ask questions, and we'll talk about some of the quirks and the nuances. You got the fire so far. Well, you just do the 4 base and you're set, man. I got 6, but as you can see, the quasi, which is the lightning one, everyone loves that one. It's very very powerful. It's lightning, radiance, magnetism, but the power is all the other crap. How do you decide what goes where? And I think I did this. Wait, do you see this? I did this. I think the first Elementalist one I did was number 20, or I don't know. I looked way back in the list. I was like, oh my god, it was that early. Let me get to this. So I created this, and I don't look at this that much anymore.
Yeah, meaning, is there a basic recipe for arcane specialists of various kinds? Or are they very different in nature, one from the other?
Oh, they are very different. They are very different. But for example, how do you I'm jumping ahead here. I should probably go with this a little bit later.
Oh, sorry.
How do you know what if a spell has a listing or keywords you're going to find that determine? Well, it could be categorized as one of these. Right.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to ask is that, are there way more than spell list differences?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning. How's that sound?
Yeah.
I got ahead of myself on that. I'll leave that up though.
My fault. Yeah.
No, it's my fault. It's my fault because I'm all over the place already. And by the way, Tim, Tim's like Len Lakofka. He'll show up when he wants to, and he'll leave when he wants to. Just know that that's coming.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having popcorn.
No, go for it.
I couldn't resist. Yeah.
Okay. Where is Tome of Magic? I know I put it in here. There it is. Okay. Patrick, thank you so very much. Get it up. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. But it isn't his party. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. All right, Tome of Magic. 2nd edition book. Look at all the names on this. Zeb Cook, Finley, Herring, Kubasek, Carl Sargent, Swan. I get this book, and I'm like, we get to a point in our game where we have mages, illusionists, and I just had made a necromancer, and the necromancer's devoid of a lot of spells at this point. So they're the 3 spellcasters we have early on. That's just going into 2nd edition. That's a long time when you think about it. Like the first 10 years of my campaign or whatever it is, there's only 3 different types of spellcasters. So it's getting redundant at that point. You have multi-class fighter mages, fighter cleric mages. No one's playing a straight magic user. Very rare. If they do, they're dual classing it as a human. That's the only time you usually would see it. All right. So we had to figure out. I was like, it's getting so that I got the necromancer, but I'm not. I got some spells from from a lot of 2nd edition had some spells. Had a necromancy sphere. I could pull some out. There's just not enough yet. Complete book of necromancers I haven't even looked at yet. I haven't gotten the Great Net Spellbook yet. I don't think. Yeah, and then I come down here and we come to this Tome of Magic book, which is really a cool book. And we'll skip Wild Mages first. Let's do Elementalists first. Wild Mages are awesome. We'll get to them tonight, I promise. All right, so here's the Elementalist Wizards. All right. What's up, Michael? And Michael, thank you for sponsoring all the Saturdays. I really, really appreciate it. Everything is going really well. And Bill, thank you for that too as well. The resub. Elementalist Wizard is a new variety of specialist mage beginning to appear throughout the lands. Doesn't say where. Good. Now, there are actual published source elementalists in GREYHAWK.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone name for me, besides Bill, the Master Crafter, who knows this, where there are 4 in one location?
I don't even know a single one. That
There are 4.
Okay.
Published source. No. Now it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is mentioned in a book, and I believe it's in Marklands, that Belvor or Flammel, whoever you want at that time, has 4 Archmage Elementalists of every sphere in his court. So that's the first place that I saw them. So air, earth, fire, water is one of each in his court. And that's a GREYHAWK publication. So, wow, Scala, thanks, man. That's the first time that I had remembered seeing it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I look at this and I'm like, man, if I can... Yeah, Rob, it's a 2E source. But it makes total sense. Tome of Magic is like a really a 2E book. So one thing I don't like about all of these 2E things is you can do all the other spheres except the opposed one, and this happens with diviners and invokers. And I'm like, I don't want that crap, man. I want your own spell list, and this is where we get back to. We make a 2E class and we back convert it to 1E. That's why I call it a 1E 2E game. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It sounds a little weird, but let me go there.
1.2.J.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So from that article, Scala, that was really kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll announce something else at the end too about gift subs.
One quick question here that I'm interested in. Was this one of the first forays into homebrewing rules-wise, or have you already done a bunch of other stuff with
I had homebrewed a bounty hunter before I even knew there was an article about one, because we wanted it all. That was my first class.
Yeah, so magic was not your first foray into
Necromancer was second, because we all wanted a Necromancer.
Yeah.
We also wanted a witch, because it mentioned witches and warlocks in the Dungeon Masters and the original Dungeon Masters guide. It said, alternate all these things you could have, but then they never appeared anywhere. But witch was later on, and witch is technically not a mage, which is its own class. What's up there, George? So this is a synopsis of that page, done in my form with the intelligence and con. They have to have a high con, which is weird, but elementalists they are combat wizards. That's just the bluntest way to put it. So,
well, they are their prime use when you get into elemental, it's primarily damage dealing, either directly, I guess, with fire and acid and stuff, or indirectly by summoning elementals and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Michael Z, you got to elaborate on what that means. It's making a light mage based on those. You mean light spells?
Well, I guess it might be. Meaning, traditionally, in most editions of D&D, you have like full casters or half casters. You have the full casters, like the cleric and the wizard, and the druid, and then you have half casters like paladins and stuff like that.
They had very limited ability in first edition.
Exactly, they have like a few spells, like the old school ranger, for instance, and the bard, and some of them they are like they can only have a limited amount of spells, not only the spell what spells, but the number of slots or stuff too. So yeah.
Yes, that is, Manfred. That is a high, because I don't want to, want to limit it. Their specialty. Now, here's a couple things. They get extra hit points, so they're 2 to 5, so they get a bonus. Yeah.
The first edition bard is different because it was like an early prestige class.
Yes, it was.
So that is a different case. The old school
100%.
bard. I was more thinking the second edition bard and onwards. So
100%. So weapon proficiencies are still as a mage. I gave them a bonus first level spell right off the bat because I know they're going to be throwing spells out like crazy.
Did you introduce cantrips or when did you?
I'm not a cantrip person.
Okay, you don't use cantrips.
Not to this day. I use no cantrips to this day. I would prefer giving them a wand of a magic missiles, or wand of burning hands, or wand of secret door and trap location, or I don't know. A lot of people like to use cantrips.
Oh, I like cantrips simply because it gives casters an action, it's type of spell that they don't run out of. It gives them something to do no matter what, so to speak.
I prefer. Good point, but I want them to run out of stuff.
Oh yeah, but then it's like a fight or whatever. If you're a full caster, and then you can still always do something cool, regardless that you don't run.
So I'll ask this rhetorical question back to anyone who's played in my game, like Rob. Did you They don't run. It's hard to run out of spells in my games.
Oh yeah, I'm more now. I'm not talking about, and this is I think a key aspect. I'm talking about the rules mechanics, not the style of play. Because in the style of play, you can always mitigate. And since Jay, you are such a well thought out, meaning your games are well rounded out. You know what you're doing, and you keep an eye out of stuff like that. So you don't need to rely on mechanics for you to run a fashioned out game, so to speak. But the average DM who run a long-term campaign or whatever might want to rely more mechanically on that aspect.
Which I can understand that 100%.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
where 5e makes it easy for people to DM.
Yeah.
To start, which is good.
Yeah.
But note that a lot of people, like, for example, the Nazrat, he's doing OSC now. He's not even doing 5e anymore. Once you find something that suits you better, then you may move on, which you've moved on too.
And also, and it's also part of how greedy you want. Meaning, I want as a game master or DM, I want to have less concern. If I want to throw stuff at the party without having to worry about the casters going off the rookers and getting panicky and dying, so to speak. So it gives me more freedom in that sense.
Yeah,
because I don't need to worry about it. But on the other hand, it gives me more problematic because there will always be firepower of the casters on their side, especially when they go up high level.
Well,
but we get to that.
Yeah. So let's concentrate on levels.
That was me going off.
Yeah. Let's concentrate on 3 to 9 to beginning here. So there are 6 different spheres: air, earth, fire, water, quasi, and para. All right.
You have them too. That's
yes. Cool. All spells available as standard magic user. Now, here's the deal. I kind of frown upon it, but it's hard. They can all take magic missile because I don't have a force mage. If I had a force mage, it would be different. Except they can't use this specialty spell force ball here. I say that's leave to general mages. They cannot use a spell that is listed in any other of the 5 elementalist lists in their list. So I'm going to explain what that means. So let's go to let's just go to a spell list here. You would think I would have them in here, and I don't. So let's go to let me go to quasi, because you'll see all the alpha spells in here. Quasi. Whoop, I gotta go into AD&D. I'll throw the quasi list out there because it's really a cool list. QUASI. And I played a quasi elementalist yesterday. All right, here we go. All right, so this is not the complete spell list of the quasi elementalist. it's the complete spell list of all the quasi-elementalist spells. But notice Shield's not on there in first level. Run's not on there first level. Tensor's Floating Disc. Well, you can cast general mage spells. You can learn them as a supplement to your list. These are the quasi lists. These are all the spells that the quasi-elementalist knows. So Lightning Bolt here at third level is on here, which means your Fire Elementalist, your Air Earth, they're not casting Lightning Bolt. It's out of their hands. Look at all the alpha spells on here from Jason Nelson. Look at them all. He did a ton of them. How many are there here? There's got to be like 4, 8, 11, 12.
Oh, you took these from the Great Net Spellbook or something that he did? Okay.
There are 22 alpha spells in Quasi. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I've had it for... This was before I even knew him. That's why I was so excited to talk to him when we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let me stay from the... Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just using this as an example. So... The exception is the light spell's an exception because people may need to light things up. So I put light as an exception to all that. But all these spells are for this elementalist. I mean, fire's got their own list. Air, earth, they all have their own lists. What does that mean here? You must specialize in an element: air, earth, fire, water, quasi-para. All spells available standard magic user. There you go. Protection from normal missiles. Okay. Slow. Good. They're not in any of the other elementalist lists, so you're allowed to learn them. But here's another thing. You have a bonus of plus 20% to learn your elementalist spells, minus 25 when learning general mage spells. That's actually right in the Tome of Magic. All right. Swords and Sword SS? No, SS is Seven Sisters. That's the Ed books, one of the best books ever, Seven Sisters, Rob. Yeah, SS. All right. When you cast a spell or someone casts a spell, Lightning Bolt on you, you get a +2 on your save. When they cast a spell from an opposed element, so say you're in a water elemental, someone casts Fireball on you, your save is -2. Now, Quasi and Para don't have those opposed, so they're -1 in all the other elements. All right. And then once per day, you may cast a spell 1 to 4 levels higher, which we've seen that blasting. We had a lot of that going on yesterday. All right. Rob did it on his Iron Maiden spell in his Helmed Horror. He cast it 1 to 4 levels higher, and instead of having it out there for 7 levels, he had it out there for 11. And it was out there the entire fight for Rob's character, Silasar, as an example, once per day. And then you got controlled, you can control elementals, you can summon elementals on there's a lot on the spell list. So, what does that mean? This character class is meant to be a wrench thrown into everything. I don't want to necessarily know what's coming at me as a DM, and I don't want the players knowing what's coming at them, right? The last thing I want is to know, oh, here comes there's an effect spell, here comes an ice storm. Now there's going to be a lot of times that happens, but here's the fire elementalist list. Right. So as you can see, and here there's a cross-reference chart always down at the bottom here. Yeah, it tells you what they are, where the spells come from. P-packet spell means it was photocopied from a Dragon magazine before there was ever PDFs. That's how old this is. Yeah, so. And you can see a lot of these spells, Delayed Blast Fireball. Well, that's first edition spells. So I'm not telling you where it's from. Yep. Right? And then you can see a lot of these are GREYNET. GS is GREYNET Spellbook. Man, without the GREYNET Spellbook, I'm not going to be able to do this, or it's going to be a lot less.
Well, that was one of the first great resources on the internet in the beginning. That was early on, because it came around really early. I think it was almost like a mailing list or something before it even became a website, I think.
Yeah, it was the beginning of being able to do this.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that the first time in the 90s.
Yeah, there's multiple editions on it, and it gets better. But another thing is with it, as I think Rob said this, man, there are so many awful spells in there. So much so that I created that Dominatrix class because there's so many sexual-based spells in there.
Well, it's all the spells that don't show up in the regular books or in the Great Net Spellbook, so you get quality from 0 to 10 there, because there are probably some great ideas as well.
More like from 0 to 4 is most of them, but then some of them are 5 to 10.
Yeah, some of them are good, but it's like monkeys with typewriters. The moderation is low and limited.
But there are great spells
Mm-hmm.
in there, and you got to balance them out.
So,
yeah, but the abilities that the Elementalist has, number one, these specialty spellcasters, and I'm talking about Elementalists and Wild Mages, number one, they cannot multi-class. Number two, they can't dual class. This is what you're doing for your life. You're stuck here. So that's one of the drawbacks of it. Two, you do get more hit points, right? You get a little more hit points, plus your con bonus, because you're going to have 15. So you're going to start out with 6 hit points at first level, woo-hoo-hoo, at least. Yep, and then you can use magic items that you could, like, so say you're a water elementalist, you can use a wand of frost or a wand of ice storms. You can't use a wand of fireballs. So hey, David Keith, good to see you. Yep. So that's kind of it. I should make a copy and remove all the crap so I can. Yeah, man, it's a lot though. Yeah, that's what I would do. I make a copy and just start hacking stuff up. Hey, Doc. So sounds easy enough, right? Start building them. So I don't know how long this took. I'm going to say for the first 4, it's got to be 6 months. Just because I had to go through that entire Great Net Spellbook. And it's just like, oh my God, some of this stuff is awful. Right?
Did you first look at the spell and see, is this a spell I could consider in my campaign, and then started looking through the class? So you first had like a general vetting of if
I knew what I wanted to do was create these. But there's only so many spells.
So the concept of a class was there, and then you read it from.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's go back to Quasi here. So then these are all cut spells out of the Great Net Spellbook and into the sphere list. And look at all the alpha spell, alpha. Electric Blades that got used. Yesterday. Energy Beam got used. Flash Glow. I'm going to show you a really cool spell. Another alpha spell. Lightning Blast. So this spell has become so widely used in our campaign that I actually allow shamans and other lesser mages. This is actually becoming a spell that's allowed to be used by standard mages in the game, because it's just a regular there's a hole at second level. Did anyone ever notice there's a damage hole at second level with spellcasters, with mages? There's like nothing there.
Most of the punchy spells, they come at third level. And then there's with the fireball and lightning bolt and stuff.
Right. There's like small assassin arrows there, but you got to hit with it. It's just like, what else is there? And so I've added some. So this lightning blast. See, look, modified. I put there's no Lord Gazumba. I was using my Lord Scott there at the time. So it does 1d8 plus 1d6 for every 2 levels of the wizard beyond first, single target. So cool spell, comes right from the Great Net Spellbook. It has morphed into a base spell in the game, which is cool. All right, you see a lot of like Knoll shamans casting it, with in addition to elementalists. Oh, Moose, I don't know about that. There is a lot of spells that do a ton of damage. Now, here's one of my favorites of all time that is a brilliant spell. This Paul Walker, and not the one from Fast and Furious. All right. Shock Sphere. This is one that just show you how good of stuff you can find if you look in the Great Net Spellbook. All right, so it's a 20-inch radius spell. So and it creates a small ball of crackly blue light. When it does expand, a large amount of electrical energy is given off. Small lightning bolts arc from object to object inside the sphere. So basically, it's created a sphere. It looks like one of those balls you see at like the Franklin Institute, right, with all the static electricity in it. That's what it looks like, right? So all creatures within the area effect must make a saving throw or take 1d3 points of damage per level of the wizard. All right, if a particular creature was targeted, so they're the center of the spell, it's 1d4, and their saves made at minus. That should be a -2, and that's it. That's simple. So, second level spell. Thanks, Greg. Tesla coil. That's another. Yeah. So a cool spell that made it into that I found in GreyNet Spellbook that was added. So hey, Freely. All right. So back to Tome of Magic. So none of that opposed stuff for me. Now their opposed ones do negatives on each other, and they fight each other, because they don't, because you have your set. So like Earth Elementalists are going after Air Elementalists, which Air is the rarest of them of the base 4. Just happens to be the way it is. But like all this stuff here, the 1 to 4 levels higher, it's all right in the book. So I'm taking from base rules all of that. All right, controlling elementals it's all right there, and that's it. It's like, what is that? It's a page. One freaking page. That's it. In the Tome of Magic, and I've created six classes for one page. There's only one Air Elementalist left after the assault of the. So, well, yeah, that's Airbender, isn't it? The last Airbender you're talking about, Manfred? So Tim made up Airbenders, by the way, which is different. He's got his own game where he has Airbenders in it, so that's a little different than the Elementalist. Yeah, yeah, I know. He loves that. Him and his son love that show. I think there's a new season coming out, isn't there? So these guys get pretty powerful, and each have their own niche. You have Earth, can be really defensive, right? Can crush you with a lot of spells, can do a lot of interesting things. Rob had so we were going to have 2 Earth Elementalists in the same group for the first time. Vamp couldn't make it. Chad unfortunately couldn't make it because of a family issue. But so Rob had his in there already in the group, and then I had a Para and a Quasi in the bad guys group, and we just had at it in that. It was more of a test. Hey, Moreland, good to see you. So Air, Earth, Fire, Water are pretty self-explanatory, but a little glitch in water that I have noted, and a lot of people are like, well, do they belong together? And I'm like, there's actually 2 subclasses of water. If that makes any sense here, let me bring this up. Water spells. Oh, good. Shoot, why is it only in the Word doc? Here's the water list. So most of them are roughly the same size. I had to try and balance it out so that they all had roughly 90 spells over, like 10 spells per level. It worked. It took a long time. Also, we didn't want duplicate spells, and that's the toughest part, Anna, of going through that GreyNet spellbook.
Yeah.
It's a duplicate. There's always, it's like, this is just another spell.
And they have a slightly different name, and they're doing the same thing but slightly different stats. Like yeah. One is more unbalanced than the other, is my guess, I guess, yeah.
We'll get to the Wild Mage, Tux, because I love the Wild Mages too. So, the Water Elementalist basically has 2 subclasses in it. And one may not belong there, but I have it in there because I think it's just really awful and nasty. So they got the ice, water aspect of it, and the acidic aspect of it. So there's a lot of acid spells in here, like Acid Ball, Acid Lash, Acid Water.
Yeah, there's the fire version, the cold version, the acid version, etc. of almost every spell.
Exactly. So,
but those are the fantasy tropes, so to speak. Yeah.
So you normally go either the cold aspect of water or the acidic aspect of water in this. And I will, especially if I use these with a shaman or a witch doctor, I'll go one or the other. And there's some good ones in here that, look at all the GSs. They're all great in that spell book. There are a lot of cool summoning spells, right? So like here, and these come from books. So let me throw this out here, and then let me go to player's option. So shaman, witch doctors as per GMD or separate. So I will create, and you'll notice this when we're playing. I'll create what I need. Say I need a witch doctor for a gnoll, and the group is 7th level. So I'll give them up to 5th, 6th, 7th level of capability. They'll have clerical, and they may have an elementalist or a general mage sphere or even a necromantic sphere of wizard spells. It'll mix. I'll mix them, right? And that's what they, it's almost like a cleric mage mixed together. It's based on feel. I don't think there's need to put those as down in rules. Just like in 5th edition, and this is what Les taught me about 5th edition, you can stat block out the bad guys without having them pertain to a class, right? You can make them, write them up, but they're not really at a class setting. So, yeah. Yep. So, all right. Now let me go to Player's Option Book. I'll show you what we're talking about with spells.
Yep. Tux brought out this book, and now you're switching to another one. That's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Where's my? I know I got the Player's Option Book. I got so many books here. Shoot. Let me go to General AD&D. Player's Option. I don't know why it's not showing up. There it is. Okay. All right. Player's Option spell. We talked about this in spells the other day. All the great spells in this book. All right. Let's go to Wizard Spells 4th. So we're going to take a spell, and like I said, use your books. Here. Here it is. So 4 of the base elementalists can get this spell. 4th level. Conjure Elemental Kin. It's like a mini elementalist conjure, because they will all be able to conjure an elemental at 5th if they get the spell, which is 9th level of the class. All right, so here we go. So duration's 1 turn per level, so it's longer. Here are the things you can get. It says down here, Plane of Air, a peck or a sylph. So you get if you're air elementals, you get to summon a sylph. If you are an earth elementals, you get a peck or a sandling. If you're fire, you get a fire snake. And if you are water, you get an arid or water weird. So there you go.
One question about summoning creatures, because I've seen lately, I haven't had this problem really when I run my games, but something I've seen on Reddit and other places is a lot of problems today, especially, I don't think it's 5e particular, but it got into it when you quantify things, is the number of actions you get. I saw it in the Pathfinder stuff, is that when you summon creatures, when a wizard or cleric or someone summon, or druid or something, summon creatures, they get so many actions, meaning they overwhelm an enemy and stuff. I've never seen that as a problem. That's
got to be a 5th edition thing.
Well,
if you're summoning, for example, say you do monster summoning 3 and you get a cougar or a lion, we're going to get their claw bite, and if they both their claws hit, they get their rake.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, or if you're summoning there's a spell called Ape Call, which I think I got from Great Net Spellbook, where they can summon carnivorous apes.
Yeah. I think it's an issue because they want to run so-called balanced encounters. And then when you run a balanced encounter, if you add a number of, if one side summons in creatures, it unbalance the game quickly if you run it so to speak balanced, because the side that's summoned them in get so many more actions, because that's what decides the outcome, because you can deal out so much damage, whatever, per action.
I did not know that was an issue with summoning creatures.
It is. Yeah, I've seen a lot of forums. I don't think I have that. I don't think in those terms as a DM, imbalanced. So I will, action economy, exactly. Action economy on the various sides varies a lot when you add in. So there are some rule systems and some ideas of saying that, well, if you summon a bunch of creatures, they act on your turn and they can only, so that was just one of these things that certain play styles can probably, they gain certain benefits, but they seem to get this drawback, so to speak. Yeah.
Note the following. Those with spellcasters in my campaign. How often do I give out monster summoning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells? You don't see them in the spell books, right? I don't do them. Yeah. I do specific summoning spells. They're going to summon. I know what's coming. Like Dog Call, 1st level. You're going to get some war dogs. Beetle Call. You may get a rhinoceros beetle depending on your level. Right, it's it. I don't want the one where there's 20 different things on the list. It stops the game, and I got to look up and see what it is and how many of them there are. I don't want those in my game. I want the ones that are, all right, you're casting this, I have the miniatures, boom, done. You know, that's another thing. Now, if you're using a VTT and it does it for you and it summons them, that's great. But yes, I do, Mike. That's a great question. I do, but they got to go to a school where there are at least some of those spells available. So you're looking at Altamira in my game, Greyhawk, or Harby. That's it. There are 3 places. You better belong to one of those 3 guilds. But remember, I don't use the right side of the map, Mike. I mean, there's probably Neil Dra would be great, but we're not playing out of Neil Dra, right? So 3 places. Narwhal spellcasters. I don't know. We'll deal with that when we get some higher level ones. Balancing is an issue. Now, summoning. Quasi doesn't have that spell. But check this out. Conjure Greater Radiance Quasi Elemental at 5th. Great Net Spellbook spell. Let's see what it does. How's that sound? Quasi spell descriptions. Now, this comes right out of the Great Net Spellbook, everyone. By the way, I shot that alpha shooting stars at the very beginning of the fight Saturday morning with the Quasi Elementalist. Yep. Boom. Kernel Electricity. That's just like Kernel Cold. Here it is. All right. 5th level is where you get to conjure elemental. But here you go. Greater Radiance Quasi Elemental. Those ball lightnings that you see, the Quasi Elemental lightnings. I think I got a picture of one. 1 second. Those. Okay. Kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you get, and this is where I like that this also says here something different. Die roll 1 to 65, you get an 8 hit die, right? 66 to 85, you get 1 12 hit die. But 86 to 95, you get a Zagya, which is cool if you remember them from Lost Caverns to Shokanth. And then 96 to 16. So there you go. Simple. Very simple thing. And it's 1 turn plus 1 round per level. So it's a little different. Now, no Will-O-Wisps in here. No Will-O-Wisp, but you got it. So in general, critters summoned by monster summoning so are generally weak enough to upset. Yeah, but it looks like in 5e there, Sam, they overwhelm parties with how quickly they attack. It sounds like. Yeah, I can see where that would be a problem. But so and then let's do this. Even worse. This now. We'll go back to, I know I'm bouncing all over the place. You can always, please feel free to ask questions as we go. All right, let me go here, and then let me go, where's the description one? Oh man, maybe I lost that one already. So let's go back to this. Give me 1 sec. My gosh, I got a lot open. Spellcaster notes. That's not it. I know I have it here. Air spell. I did a thing up showing you all the crossovers, what they do, and now I can't find it. That is strange. Maybe I erased it by accident. Oh, here it is. Keywords. Here's some. All right, here are your keywords. So if you see a spell and it's like Electric Shroud, which I used on yesterday, or Bolt of Stone. Well, it's going to go in, right? Where's that going? Earth, right? These are keywords that I looked up in these spells to give you an idea. If you find them and you want to start creating them, it'll help you. Air, mist, gaseous fog for air. Earth, iron, sand, stone. Fire, flame, incendiary, scorch. Water, cold, ice, acid. Lightning. For quasi, lightning, electricity, radiant stars. Alpha, star-powered magery. Alpha's Knight of the Leonids. That goes in quasi. And here is the one I'm talking about. Like all these spells are cool. I don't want them in general mage. I didn't know what to do with them all. I'm like, oh my god, I got all these spells that sound amazing. I don't know what to do with them. Crystal, ash, dust, salt, smoke, steam, magma, lava, ooze, slime. They're all going into para. So, and that's where I'm creating the 6th. I created the 6th. Dust is not air earth. Dust is para. Dust is para, Turbo. I do want it. It just, if I do those there are some crossovers, like fire water. It can be in fire and water, right? Yeah, there are some crossovers. Can you elements of summon fundamentals? Isn't that a creature that's kind of cheesy? Those fundamentals. Here's another book that I don't know if any of you have seen. Where is it? All right. Anyone have this? The Great Elemental Net Book.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay.
Do you have a link?
I do not, but I could just.
Hang on a second. We can Google and see if we can find
there's
it.
two of them. Version
great,
1. Yeah, there's two of them.
The Great. What was it? The Great
Elemental Net Book.
Net.
Yeah. Wait a minute. There we go.
Guide to the Inner Planes.
Yeah.
I
stay away from the fundamentals. It's just. Yeah. There are minors because you can do a lot of stuff with GRU and things in the elementals. So look, here we go. Look at this. Table of Contents, Part 1. Look at this. I don't care about the genasi. Air, earth, fire. Here's some more spells. Some of them may be in the Great Net Spellbook, too. You got to look. Water, ice, magma, ooze, smoke, lightning, mineral, radiance, mist, ash, dust, salt, vacuum, positive, negative energy. Take your pick, everyone. There you go. You can. So, yeah, Rob. I forgot about this when I was. But I used this mostly to build the quasi. No, not the quasi, the para elementalist. Yeah, this is what I used. So, yep. So, look. Anyone find it? I don't know where I picked this up, but I did. So, it's Great 26th of September, 1999. This was released. Crazy. Anyone find it?
Yeah, I found it on our Internet Archive. Have it in Word document format.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah, there you go. Great Net Elemental Book. It's two parts.
Yep.
First and second.
The second one has all the spells in it. Yeah. There you
go. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I downloaded them.
There's a lot of cool net books from that year. Yes,
fundamentally. Yeah, I just opened them and stuff. So yeah.
This will help you. This will help you with some of the crap spells, right? Well, if we go and from these, some of these come out of that. So the Para Elementalist is it a pride and joy? Hey, what's up? What's up there, Vamp? Yeah, you are. You made it to 8th. Yes, you are 8th level.
Hello.
So wait a minute. Let me get the Para spell list up. These spells intrigued me. They intrigued me a lot. Like I was like, man, what am I going to put these? I don't want to put these in the general mage. Like here, this is a really cool spell, Healing Touch of Salt. So they're going to put salt on your wound. It's going to hurt like hell, but it's going to seal the wound a little bit. Right? That's kind of neat, you know? I did this one.
No pain, no gain.
No, exactly. This one could be a general mage spell, but I used it. I used it on Saturday. Fryk's Iron Spears. I just thought that this was one of those spells that really deserves to be in the Para Elementalist. So if I go here, let me just close this one. I got too much open, and we go down to 4th level. It's kind of like an ice storm, but it's a much higher area effect. I just couldn't do it on everyone. Here, simple. Range 10 yards per level. It's a 60-foot radius. That's what's so cool about it. So, and I did this on Fornalin and Fae Nethra on Saturday. The area is so affected to be smitten with iron spears that fall and disappear to wherever they came from. Any creature in the area effect is hit by 1 to 3 spears that inflict 1d10 damage each. The material components are a bit of iron and dust from a gem. So they're going to get hit between 1 and 3, and it's 1d10. Well, Ice Storm does better damage because it's always 3d10, right? This one, there's no save as well. You're not going to have a lot of immunity to this, but I'm getting way more creatures in a 60-foot radius. Way more. So, yeah. No. Hey, Geek Dice, good to see you. So just note that there's so many unbelievably cool spells out there. You gotta go through them and you gotta figure out, man, where are these spells? Like, where are they? Notice how many of these. And Tim, you see where it says Tim. The ever mysterious Tim made a lot of these spells for this. So and I had to change all the levels up. He's like Ed Greenwood. I'm like Tim. That's not a second level spell. It's a 4th level spell, but that's okay. They're good. They're good spells. I just had to change the levels on them. And some spells like Smoke Screen, which was on the Dragon magazine, makes the cut. But most of these are Great Net Spellbook spells or something special. Now remember, they can use general mage spells as well. But you want to summon stuff? Here, let's go. 3rd level, Vanar's Clay Critters. Let's take a look at what that does for an example of a para-elementalist spell. 3rd level. Okay, this should be it. All right, so it says here you have the little creature, you craft them in clay, and then there's 4 hit die to play with. So you can create clay creatures 4 1-hit die, 2/2, a 3/1, or 1/4. And there you go. So it's basically you're creating these little clay monsters. You know, it's the claymation monster attack. But it's a 3rd level spell, and it's a little different. So and all the ways for attack and defense is in here. So a lot of times I'll when I cast a spell, I'll just do 1 4th level creature because I want it to be able to hit. So there you go. That's a summoning spell. And look, it's Elemental Ooze land, so it falls right into that para-elementalist. So, and that's how you get with 6. Now, there are very high level spells. We don't need to go over them. The highest level elementalist, I think, for my campaign, yeah, exactly, Toy Story creature, is 12th. That's 6th level spells. So why am I going to even talk about the 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells yet, Anna? Right? You know, but they're there, and they're super high. I mean, look, the Crystal Brittle. By the way, that is a para-elementalist spell, which comes right out of D2, correct? Crystal Brittle and Energy Drain come right out of D2. What's up, Tino? So, and that gives you 6. Oh, whoops! I probably just closed everything. I did. That was dumb. Let me bring Tome of Magic back up. Duh. Sorry. Tome of Magic. Right to that page. Yep. All right. What questions do people have? So, Rob, maybe that helps you a little bit with. The tough thing is, how am I going to have spells 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, right? All the, however many up, and make sure they have spells that are their own. Others can't cast them, and make them unique. It's not easy, right? How many fire spells are in Unearthed Arcana? Fire Shield, Wall of Fire, Fire Trap, Delay Blast, Fireball. There aren't enough.
And do you mean all of the ones that deal some sort of fire damage?
Right, but they don't have to deal fire damage. They can just be on fire. Like Fire Charm is another one, right?
Yeah, so they're, yeah.
But there are not enough to create its own class. There's like maybe 2 per level.
And do you have like a general, there's any way you can say you can specialize in all the fire spells, period?
No. You're going to be a fire elementalist. No, yeah. I don't want to go with that. I don't want to go there as far as an evoker with fire, because that's 2nd edition.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2nd edition. Oh, because then they can cast every single air, earth, water spell, whatever. They can cast all that.
No, I was more thinking when they do like fire damage, you can do more damage. That's something I do in Hawktails. You can specialize in fire damage in spells, so you can say, well, I want to. When I wield magic fire, I want to be an expert at it. So that way you can upgrade your damage die when you do fires. So your fireballs do more bigger damage die. All the spells that do fire damage, you upgrade the damage die, so to speak.
Right. Well, there's
one way of doing it. Yeah.
Yes, but there's another way that they do it right in the Tome of Magic that I do,
mm-hmm.
and that is the big pop, which is this. They can 1 spell per day. They can cast at 1 to 4 levels higher. So if they have a 7th level fireball, 7 die 6, like for example that both Rob and Bolt of Stone, 7 die 6, both Vamp and Rob has in their character. They roll die 4, and then they can go up to 11 die 6 for that. Once per day,
Yep.
they can do that. Not every spell, because they already have the power. They're getting all access to all these spells that no one else has. That's enough power in itself. They got a ton of combative, damage-dealing spells. And there's some cool spells, too, that aren't damage-dealing. Like Earth Elementalist has Stone Bridge, has Metal Arm, which creates a big shield on your arm. You know, there's all sorts of cool spells. Is that basically just upcasting the spell?
In a way, it is for me. I thought you mentioned when I'm upgrading the damage die. That's one way of doing it. But you can also specialize in schools and strains. That gives you another benefit, so to speak. So depending on the spell, it's listed in the spell description in Hawk Tales.
100%, Rob. You couldn't do this without the Great Net Spellbook. There's no way. There's absolutely no way you could.
Well, you have to set an event 500 spells yourself. Yeah.
Yes, who wants to do all that?
Well, you never know.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to create 500s. No, they're out there. Now, I've created spells.
No, but this is the good thing. No matter what, if you do a fantasy game, that whatever rule system that is at least vaguely based on D&D, you can use this as inspiration for your spells.
100%.
Yeah.
When there's gaps, I filled them. So this is the Water Elementalist list. Let's take a look. Let's go to the 9th level spell, because there were so few water spells at 9th. What did I create? Tidal Wave. Range 40 feet per level. This spell summons a huge amount of water in form of an ocean wave. All creatures must save versus spells to take 8 to 80 points of damage and be knocked unconscious for 3 to 18 rounds. All creatures under 5 hit dice are killed instantly with no saving throw. Those failing their save by 3 or more are also killed instantly. Boom, 9th level spell done. Right there. That was. I wanted some high level spells. Now, has anyone ever cast it in the campaign yet? No. Not yet, but they may down the road. Let me go to air spell. Air. We got a couple others in air. I think I did Twister and Tornado, because there weren't. They just made sense here. So Twister's. That's 8. We'll go to Tornado, 9th. This spell summons an unintelligent major tornado. It will move in a line from an initial summoning rate of 20 inches. All creatures in its path must save versus spells or suffer 15 to 90 points of damage and be rendered unconscious 4 to 24 rounds. Same thing. All creatures under 5 hit dice are killed instantly with no saving throw. Also the same as the tidal. You get hit by a tidal wave, you're in big trouble, right? You know. So there. I made some spells because there were gaps that needed to be filled, so I filled them. Yep. Also. Let's go to, there were spells that were made that was a simple switch. Tim, Rob, you'll probably find this one. I love these spells. Let me see if I can find it. Sarius's Fire Giant. One of them is I made, and the other one I switched. No, it's not here. Yeah, here it is. All right. Sarius's Fire Giant Manifestation, 6th level. It's from the Grey Net Spellbook. I modified it. This creates a golem-like creature with the wizard may direct to perform certain programmed actions. So this creature mimics most of the actions of a fire giant. Armor class 3, 12, hit die 11 plus 3, blah, blah, blah. All right, so there you go. So basically you're creating a fire giant golem with this spell at 6th level. So much so, and I don't have a lot of water spells, right? So, I'm just going to take this guy's idea and I'm going to make it a water frost. There you go, with some minor changes and change it up a little bit. Simple. What's that? So, what's the Earth Elementalist one? What I didn't. What's a high level Earth Elementalist spell?
Yeah, he was looking for like a meteor ending the old life.
Let me take a look. Earth spells, right? Earth spell description. Here you go. These are other. All right, let's see what we got in the Grey Net Spellbook here. Create battlement.
Oh, that is one Helluva long
yes. So there you go. That's why I like Earth's got some really cool stuff. So that's Kai Rottenbarger made that up. So, all right. Let's see what else we got. Mass Flesh to Stone at 8th. There you go. It affects up to 1 creature per 2 levels in a 40-foot cube. So if you're 16th to cast this, you can get 8 people. You can Flesh to Stone 8 people in one shot instead of just 1. That's pretty good. Yeah. And it's permanent.
And it's a saving throw?
Yes, saving throw in the case.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Iron Skin, Stone Gaze. So, this is a gaze attack, just like a Medusa. Yep. So you can see there's some spells there. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. But let's be honest there, Chad. 16th level in my game. Trivia question. How many characters brought up from first level have made it as a spellcaster to 16th?
Don't you have to be 18th level to
For
cast
9th.
9th level?
For 9th, but that was an 8th level spell.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. 4, 0, Moose. Somewhere in between those two. 1. And that is Tim's character, Fensick, 16th level mage, straight mage. 1. Yeah. So that's why I mostly concentrate on up to 6th, with a little 7th splatted in there. Buck Rogers, no, Hawk made it to 16th there. Prof, you're wrong. It wasn't Buck. So I'm saying there's a chance. Sure, there's a chance. If we're playing in 10 years from now and that's the only character you've ever played, you're 16th, there's a chance. Sure there is. You're 8th, you're halfway there, man. All right. Elementalists, what other questions do you have? It's once you get the hang of it, it's easy to make them. From those, the Shadow Mage idea came, right? Which I was like, I got to get a Shadow Mage because there's Shadow Dancer and Forgotten Realms. I want the Shadow Mage. The Para Elementals is one I was working on for a while. I think it works pretty well. What's up, Curtis? I really like it, but I would concentrate on the 4 base ones and then we'll go from there. Yeah, no, I don't think that. It's 8th level less than halfway to 16th. It's not. That's the joke. Not an XP. It's probably not even a quarter, right? Yeah. So definitely not. All right. So Anna, what are you doing for specialty with Hawktails?
I do. We have first. You have for specialty. You have the different conduits. Meaning, are you an arcane caster? Are you a divine caster or a primal caster? And those are the way. That's how you get your magic, so to speak. But then you can get into you can specialize in several different ways. One, you can. If you're an arcane caster, you can specialize in schools of magic. All of them except clemency, because that's not an arcane school. But all the standard ones, aberration and conjuration and stuff. So you can specialize in them. So that means that you can. A lot of spells in their description have so you can upcast them basically for free. So you can, if you have a specialization, bit, you can upscale, and a lot of them. Like the damage dealing spells, for instance, you can do more damage dice with them. So it can be really powerful that way. But from spell to spell, not all spells, but the spells have in the description what you can do with specializations. And school specialization is one way of doing it. If you say, I want to be better at all the divine spells, you can do better. But then there are certain spells that are like shadow spells, for instance, and those are strains. So you can say, I want to be specialized in fey magic, or I want to specialize in shadow magic, or I want to specialize in elemental magic. Then you specialize in a strain of magic, meaning what kind of powers do these spells wield, or what they come from, so to speak. So you can take, I want to be someone who specializes in all the spells that come from the nether planes, or like fiendish magic or something. So there are many different ways you can specialize that way, especially for divine casters. There's some cool spells, specializations in strain. You can, and then you can simply say, well, screw that. I just want to learn all the poison spells or all the fire spells. I just want to be able to do way more damage on my fire spells or my poison spells or something like that. And I want to be a damage dealer first and foremost, and I want to do more damage with my acid spells or fire spells or one of the kinds. And then you can learn, simply upgrade the damage die from a DC 1, 2, 3, 4 steps by having an energy specialization and say, I want to specialize in lightning spells or fire spells. That's another way of doing it. So you can either specialize in the more generic school specialization, for instance, or a little bit more narrow in the strange specialization, or I simply want to punch really hard when it comes to one type of spells. Then you specialize in an energy. So depending on how do you want to be a generic caster and want to be good at everything, or do you want to be a specialist in one little case, so to speak, or do you want to be a specialist at dealing damage, or do you want to be generally better at upcasting everything in your realm, so to speak? You might want to be a diviner or an elementalist generally, so you can summon bigger elementals and stuff like that. Then you specialize in the strain of the elemental spells or and so on. Or if you want to or you specialize in the school of magic if you want to be generalized fairly much, so to speak, you can do it. So there are several different levels depending on how narrow you want your specialization to be. But you can punch really hard if you want to. If you want to have a caster that casts the best, most powerful fireballs ever, you can do that.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, so those are so there are specializations, several, either narrow or broad, depending on. Yeah.
Be forewarned, everyone. Here he comes.
Oh, cool.
The ever mysterious Tim is here.
Yeah.
What's going on? You look like you got sunburn, man.
It's just dark, so the
okay.
exposure on the camera's turned up.
How are you?
Pretty good.
By the way, we have an announcement. We have a date for our next City State game with Tim DMing.
Oh, cool.
Saturday, July 26th, 10 a.m.
You've been warned.
We've been warned, yes. So back to the City State, back to me playing Dervilia. Yes, it'll be a fun time. So we got a lot going on before that, but at least it's scheduled.
That's right.
So Tim, you at one point. And I'm sorry if I interrupted with Tim.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Perfectly
understandable.
Tim. Of course, now I got to find it. Tim had a. Here we go. Let me go para. 1 second. I got to find it. Para spell here. So Tim at one point, here's his notes, chicken scratch notes, and I went all over. So Tim helped me with the para elementalist back in the day. So as you notice, I'm upping the levels of these. Some of these are.
Yeah, he made it where I was limited. Of course, he's always trying to clip your wings.
Notice, yeah. All right. So wait a minute. It was only 3 spells I changed the levels on.
I know. I'm only kidding.
I know. But I use this. I use this on. I use spray of sodium on Faunlin. Yeah. Yeah, but the problem is once she gets immolated, she had fire resistance, so it wasn't a lot of damage after that, right? But it was still fun. So, fourth, you're giving a regular for Tim that's out July. It's more than a month away. You're gonna have to remind me, man. You're gonna have to remind me at that point. So, Necromancer is great too, Manfred. Probably won't get to Necromancer tonight because Necromancy deserves its own show. But so Tim, your thoughts, because on stuff you've created a lot of classes in your game, right? For that are shaman-like, but they have different spells.
They're mostly shaman-like, witch-like, hedge magic, like.
Right.
I made it was the priesthood though. We're not really talking about specialty priest, but I made the specialty priest of Heng.
Right, that's Mike Disney's character,
Thunder Spirit. Yeah, Mike Disney's character, Heng. So he's into thunder and lightning and all the good things that rain brings.
So Anna, we can have a Tim fight right now. Ready? Tim,
Okay.
do you use cantrips?
Oh, cool.
I
Yeah.
can use cantrips.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because they're always like, why don't you let me do? Why don't I allow cantrips?
You just assume it. Well, you've changed the rules to where it's additional stuff you don't need, and you just basically let them do
Right.
it.
Right.
If you're really, if you're trying to make it like a simulation where quick drawing your weapon is a thing, then cantrips would be used. But Jay's basically like, all right, you're ready. So it's assumed that if you're a mage and you wanted to go poof, it's in your hand. It's in your hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you pull it out of a quiver, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you got
so
it.
it kind of gets absorbed into your description of what you do rather than finagling. I only have one presents cantrip left.
Exactly. So if you want to do like little things and do little tricks on like the kids and stuff and poof with I let spellcasters do that.
It's good if you're like starting like sub first level, 0 level, guy or magic user in training for his first thing. Then it would make sense to use cantrips kind of like that until they reach first level, and then they can kind of just do it.
Yeah. In Hawktails, cantrips are, if you want to be the ultimate spellcaster that do damage dealing, then cantrips is cool, because cantrips do minute amount of damage to begin with, like a D4 or something like that. You can cast them every time. But the specializations, if you bundle school specialization or strain specialization together with energy specialization, that means you can upgrade the number of dice plus the size of the die and still cast it every round. So that way, but that means that you have to sacrifice a lot of other stuff, meaning you will only be able to cast, you will be a caster dedicated to magic casting, magic damage dealing spells, and you skip a lot of the other ones. You would not power up any of the other spells.
So
but that way you can do a heck of a lot of damage even with your cantrips, because they will upgrade fairly significantly. You would do 3, 4 D6, D8s or something like that with even your little acid.
That means
blast.
You've kind of evolved them out of the cantrip arena, though.
Yeah, but cantrip mean you can still cast them without spending spell slots. That's the key bit that is still there. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a question, and this is not meant in any way of offense whatsoever.
No, please. Yeah.
Casey Brown gets a hold of that caster.
Yes.
What
exactly.
happens?
Yeah, and that's one of the key things with Hawktails, is that in order to learn these things as a GM, your experience, your kind of your responsibility is to think because they still have to learn these things.
Right.
And that means that, let's say you're a 0 level bunch of kids in the village that want to be, and you say your character, I want to be the best caster in the world, kind of thing. That means that you have to either figure it out yourself or you have to learn from someone. And if you learn from someone, that someone, you need to spend time, XP, and persuade them to teach you. Or you simply have to teach yourself. Right. And that takes time and XP. So that is a budget. Or you use milestones. So you simply say, well, now you go up a level. And that means that you have this much you can spend on this.
Tim, did you play one at the con last year? A spellcaster?
Yeah.
I did. I did have a spellcaster who he was also kind of good with some fighting stuff.
Yeah, you had a spear, and you were
not
overemphasized
that till I got squished.
Yeah, you became the most offensive and just ran in. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But because those characters, I didn't go whole in. That was meaning your character, I forgot the name now, was a wizardly type, an arcane spellcaster, but was not in would be someone who'd be like a 4th level wizard and a half level fighter or 1 level fighter, because you had a few weapons and you had a little bit better combat capability. You had got some combat experience and stuff. So you didn't want, because you can screw it up in Hawktails and say, I want to play a pure caster. I don't want any combat crap or learn any of that stuff. Then you become you keep your basic, but very basic. But what I've done is that you also boost, so you get a medium-sized creature, or like a human, you get 20 hit points as a base, just as a human to begin with. So that way I boosted all characters have a bit more extra hit points as a cushion to begin with. just for being around, so to speak. And then they get less at really high level instead. So you get 10 hit dice for free, basically, as you level up. And you start with a D6. And then you have to basically upgrade your hit die if you want to be beefy in combat. So to reach the maximum number of capability, if you're a spellcaster, then means that you have to forego those extra hit dice from 10 to 20th level. Say, I want to learn spell specializations and strain or whatever skills and stuff instead, and then forego some. But if you say, I want to be the best, best warrior in the world, then you skip these things and put more hit dice and stuff in there instead. So it's a trade-off. Do I want to go broad or specialize in whatever it is?
Got it.
So
Makes
that is
sense.
so half of those protections are the GM fiat. You, as a game master or DM, you want to go in and steer up your game a little bit. The other half, the rules say that, well, you can say, I want to be the best fire spell damage dealer ever. But that means that if you want to get all of these benefits, you become a very weak character in a lot of other aspects, so to speak. You only have so much XP budget. So that's the stuff. But it is, it's a trade-off no matter what, because you get the problem with multi-classing in a class-based system, because you get so much cool stuff at first level. So if you take 3-4 classes, that means that you become really cool at doing low-level stuff, and then you become minuscule once you reach higher level, because you never learn anything more than those cool stuff you learned early on, so to speak. So every system comes with trade-offs one way or the other. So
I'm putting up some stuff here.
Yeah.
For wild mages. So one spell I forgot to share. Give me 1 second here.
But it's a great question, Jay, and I think it's something that every DM need to be wary of, and also wary is the wrong word. Half of it is wary, the other part is accommodating, because if someone wants to play a character that is the best in the world at something, you should accommodate it as far as it goes without ruining the game, so to speak. So if I have a character or a player like Casey who wants to play the best of something, you should accommodate it and say, well, you can work on it. It will take a while, but your character can be really, really good at something. And then you steer your game. I want to have the best spellcast. Well, we need to go to a big city, and you need to learn from the best, or we need to go and search for that hermit sitting out on somewhere in the cave who's the best in the country in this.
Would you do it like, hey, you only know three spells, but you know them really well, and
exactly, that's one way of doing it. You can,
that's a sorcerer.
And exactly, or you simply say, I skip it. I'll learn my 3 spells, and I get damn good at them. I'll skip the other ones because I don't find anyone who can teach me, and screw it. I'm going to do that, and then I get some bigger hit die or something. You can say, I want to be a wizard with D12 hit dice. That's possible.
So, just a different play style.
Yeah.
I am finding that the newer players that are coming in, Rob and and Vamp and Coco and Star, they're being spellcasters, and Mark from Marquis, they want to be able to be flexible and have a wide range of spell ideas. So now that they understand how powerful this spell slow is. Mm-hmm. Right, Tim? They're all casting slow like crazy over damage spells, right? And we made a single target because it was so powerful. But slow. So immediately, they go. So
and Jade, there you have another thing. If you as a DM, and I think this is a general good advice. If casters keep casting the same spell over and over and over again in whatever, then that spell probably need to be nerfed a little.
It was nerfed.
Exactly, you need to nerf them a bit.
Yeah,
because
it was. It used to be area effect.
Exactly.
And now it's single target. Yeah.
It's a great spell. It's one of those things that you have to prepare for.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem early on, Tim won't agree with me on this, but I do. I agree. Was whoever won a knit, it was a race to haste buffing to slow buffing the bad guys. Every fight, a wizard would haste his whole party, right? And I'm like, oh my god. Or the wizard would cast slow on the entire party just because you got in it the first time. So we changed them both to single target spells, and that solved the issue.
Yeah, but you can
another way to fix it is also you don't let them know when they're doing the big fight, and so somebody hits them with it early, they use it up, and then they get to the big bad guy who
Well, that's true.
And there's another way you can nerf a spell too. You don't need to nerf the effect of it. You can nerf the cost of casting it. And that's something I try to do with Hawktails, because magic components, I think, is something that is underused a lot.
It's a lot of minutia for us.
I put 14 different spell components, different kinds of spell components. You only have like 3 or 4 in regular
System
D&D.
Shock when they cast haste. No, I've never done System Shock on haste.
Jay, it's an area effect with no save, right? It's an area effect with no save.
No save, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, one way to counteract it, and I think that's a little overbalanced. I can see that, and is to make it a saving throw.
Yeah, but what
changes it.
But what you can do is that you can keep some of these spells that are crazy overpowered, but they come with huge cost. What if you age 10 years by casting it, or something like that? Means that
only the elves will use it.
Exactly, but then but there might be other effects. You can in 5e. What if you have to sacrifice a death save permanently? Yeah. So you have one less death save if you cast a spell. So that means that you might be able to cast that spell 3 or 4 times in your career, and then you're screwed. And that or something like that. There's like a 50-50 chance that you lose a death save permanently, or some other effect.
So, for me, I want to keep the game, because it's streamed and all too. I want to keep the game away from the tediousness of components for the most part. Now, I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of a spell I cast Saturday that had one of the funniest components I've ever seen. And that is the Para Elemental spell Jelly Armor, which she cast right off the bat. So the creature touch is coated by a gelatinous substance that prevents him or her from being gripped, webbed, entangled, but also reduces damage from piercing and slashing weapons by half, and prevents the recipient from being damaged by bludgeoning weapons. Now wait, the components are a whole jelly ooze slimer pudding that is consumed in the casting. And so there was a cage. So what she was doing was she was putting people in there and then putting a little bit of jelly down there. And it would expand on eat. Yeah. So I used a miniature with a guy being enveloped by the ochre jelly. And so she wrapped the whole shit around her. I thought it was hysterical. Yeah. So I'll use them when in this type of thing. But
that's disgusting.
It is. Yeah. That's Para Elementalist. Yeah. I thought it was funny. It's an ooze sphere. Yeah. So, tapioca, yeah. There you go. Just gotta have some comedy.
Yeah.
But I can understand that where components will really help with
and there's certain things you can limit. There's like geography is a component. There are certain spells that can only be cast at a certain location or a certain kind of location. Like some of them can only be cast out at sea or at top of the mountain or whatever. It might be something that's one. And time, meaning they can only be certain. What if a certain elven spells can only be cast at 4 festivals, for instance, or they can only be cast, this magic can only be cast at the moon arc or something like that. Then you can have it really powerful because it only works there and nowhere else.
I like to let it roll.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah. And then you have things like they come with taint, and that's another thing that grows with you. So you grow evil by casting them, so to speak, in a way. There's a bunch of stuff that comes with it. So you stink of evil if you start casting it. So and so and you can have a condition. What if you're stunned for a number of rounds if you do it, or some other stuff? It comes with a curse or whatever. There's many different ways you can.
Yeah, I'm not casting any of those spells.
No, but you can. But that means that there might be a trade-off. If the situation is really good, you might want to do it, so to speak. Or it's also there for NPCs. So when an NPC casts a really powerful spells, they're stunned for 2 rounds.
Okay.
So that means so they come with trade-offs. Yeah.
I like the curse and some payoffs, or when you're doing something evil, because it gives you a lot of power really fast when you haven't earned it. And that's why it comes with that backlash. Because you're using black magic to do evil things and get more powerful. But it makes you powerful, but the costs are heavy. I've used, I know with with my sea mage.
Yes.
There are some really super powerful spells, but it takes a long time to cast them. There's some spells that are lower level. It takes 2 full rounds to cast it.
Yeah.
Because you're churning up a lot of power out of from the ocean and other that sort of effects. So that's how I counteract some of it, where it takes a while to cast it. So it leaves you
Yeah.
open to a silence or being shot at, or
Yeah.
but we may have a chance to see some Sea-Mage stuff in July.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah. Oh, great. That's wonderful. I'm just gonna charge everything in attack. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, Mike. Remember, I use 1E. I don't use 2E. You never need to make a system shock when a ghost ages you 10 to 40 years. There's no system shock involved with that. That's 1E. 2E. It looks like they made a change to it.
It's probably a good idea.
Well, I can see from 10 to 40 years, but not every time you're taking a speed potion.
Correct.
If you take a speed potion, it's going to kill you.
You could have a heart rate, could have an aneurysm. You never know.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
It can be a certain when you go over a certain age when you have to make a system shock every.
Now we're getting ages.
Yeah.
Exactly, ages. Yeah, yeah.
It limits the use. I agree on that. So my limiting of the use was making them single target spells, and that solved the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like the area effect, but make it saves. I think that's fair.
In Hawktails, your character
no
has a lifespan. So when you make a character, you roll so you know how much lifespan the character have left. And then you can... So if you take this effect, then it will age you like a hate spell might age you a year. Yeah, and that means that you cut that off, so you see your character would die naturally unless there's like a divine intervention or something at that.
Sounds like you're rolling on the Traveler character generation table there, Adam.
Yeah, during the adventure. Yes, yeah.
If you haven't done it, you will do it when you play Ravager of Time. If you play that model.
Oh my God, yeah.
You're gonna find out.
Absolutely.
That's horrible.
But Ravager of Time is a great one.
Or you have to sacrifice XP when you cast a spell too. That's another component. You might have to take experience points, so you have to.
I had a friend who they invented a role-playing game called Riddle of Steel. The combat is very, very realistic. It's based off of the sword martial arts stuff we've done, but their magic is if you go too much, it's more like free flow magic, and the more powerful you make it, the more it ages you. So like if it ages you a year, your hair and nails grow a year's worth in like 10 seconds.
Wow. Yeah.
So if you cast it, you age just like that. And so you're like, your nails are this long and it's wretched. So if you go overboard, so you can be super powerful. You can blow up the moon.
It's a bit like DCC. You will see that the wizard have overstayed their powers a bit or overused their powers because they start losing limbs or going crazy or whatever. Yeah.
All right, let's hop in here and get the Wild Mage done for what bit. Tim, do you use Wild Mages in your game? No, don't like them, right?
In Hawktails, I'm thinking about getting some sort of, but that would come into meaning they're ritual casters and they're primitive casters, and so I'm thinking about having a wild cast way of using spells too. So I haven't ruled it out yet. I haven't made the rules for it, but it would be cool to have some way of effect.
They are rare. They're rare. The highest in my campaign from first is 12th. But they can be, the effects are hysterical.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. They can be really, really game changing in the worst way or a good way.
They roll on a table or how?
I'll show you how this is done. Like, so Flavius, which is Darling Creepshow's character, who's a Gary Conn guy, who's turning into Asperities because of the phylactery. It was a wild mage. So they have their own list, and they can use standard. They can't use elemental spells. They can use standard mage spells in addition to their wild mage spells. They're they can control. They can attempt to control their surges. They can control some magic items, like a wand of wonder. They can actually control the charge that comes out of them, which is kind of neat. Or a bag of tricks. They can actually control it a little bit. All right, so that is it. And but they're not as they get. By the way, and here's another thing I do. They get bonus first, second, and third level spell. So I don't, but it has to be wild mage spell. All right. So I did that because they get no experience point bonuses on their table whatsoever. Very limited on their racing class too. So let's go here, and here's the wild mage, and here comes the level variation table. So first thing, this is a little bit hard to keep track of.
I was going to say, you say that the hawktails could be complicated.
Well,
damn, this is I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Say your ninth level.
Yeah.
You always have you have a 1 in 20 shot of a surge. So if you're on the ninth level table, you roll here and you roll a 9. See, it's bold. Your surge occurs. So if you're ninth level and you roll a 1, that's a cast as a 4th level spell. If you're ninth level and roll a 20, it casts as a 14th level spell. Lots of variation, but then there's a surge effect.
This is I'm like, this is cool. Old school gaming had a lot of these big tables to begin with. They have disappeared from modern games quite a bit. Yeah.
Shot for one of these people. Yeah, Mike, I'm just telling you, as a DM of 45, 47 years, I may have missed it. We've never done System Shock for aging. Ever. Well, that's not true. Tim's character got aged 100 years by a witch once, and he had to do it. That was a little severe, from that witch spell. All right, here's the table. Now, most of this is bad. The lower numbers are bad. The higher numbers are better. Right? All this stuff can happen, plus the spell can go off or it doesn't go off at all. Like, for example, you roll a 16, you're going to polymorph randomly for a turn. Just keep on changing it into different things, and I'm going to make it comical, and your spell fails. All right? Normally it'll say spell goes off as intended if it happens. Like here, target, here, you can change your target from a male to a man to a woman by accident. Spell doesn't go off. But like this 100 one, spell effectiveness increases 200%, so that one actually worked. Now, the one I saw, the worst that we've ever had, he died. He died. But he's back now. I wish we got a wish on him. First getting him, the wild mage get turned into half orc. See, that's funny. So we've had guy turn red. We've had all sorts of things happen. The most damaging spell ever was Jacqueline Tyneman, an NPC wild mage, cast a 6 die 4 plus 6. So on 11th level, magic missile at a target. And I don't know which one it is in here. I'd have to find it. But it says in here somewhere, all targets within 60 feet are affected. It's one of these in here. All right? All of them. And we had never seen that many. It's like, because there was like 15 friend or foe within 60 feet. And there was, think about that, how many magic missiles went out everywhere. And it was the most damage we'd ever seen from a spell being cast. Because if you could do 6 die 4 plus 6 on 15 different characters, and it was friend or foe, it was just like, it was, and most people don't have Birches of Shielding or shield spells up or whatever. So that was like the worst / best thing we've ever had happen, from the spell, from a surge. Now, here comes Tim back. I think. No, I thought he was. All right, here are the wild mage spells. All right, that's it. There's not many.
Are these special spells that are only on the wild spell?
Only wild mage.
Okay.
Only wild mage, and some of these are really awesome. GS's Grey Net Spellbook again. Now, there is another Great Net Spellbook, which you need to find, called the Net Librum of Wild Magic. And here we go. And almost all these spells are in here. This is what you want to get. Plus, it talks about items that have wild magic abilities to them. It's called the Net Librum of Wild Magic. All right, as we come down here, and it starts talking about, and you'll see these spells come into my game. Yeah, not all of them. Yep,
I found it.
Okay, there you go. Net Librum of Wild Magic. Now, do I have Wild Mage spell descriptions up? I do not. I got to find that.
By Mark Sherman. Yeah.
Yep, that's it. I'm trying to find the Wild Mage spell descriptions. So here it is. All right. The number one spell the most damaging spell in all of the game, single target, is a Wild Mage spell. And it's second level. Okay? Just note that I told you. Just give me credit for letting you know. And look, it says Evocation Wild Magic right here. Rodley's Wild Bolt. This is the spell that all Wild Mages in my campaign use to get out of jail free. Also, well, they also, half of them kill themselves on this spell. Also, if you surge on this and it fizzles, you're screwed because of all the damage you did to yourself. So this is what happens with this spell. Basically, it's taking energy from yourself and turning it into this big. Think of the wave motion gun coming out, right? Awesome, Moose. You can link it. So, say you're 10th level. 10th level wizard with 30 hit points uses a bolt. You're going to declare a 10th level wizard is going to cast 10 die 3 on themselves. Now, if you surge high, if you roll high on the table, it could be 11 die 3, 12 die 3. If you roll low, you get screwed, and it could be 5 die 3 or 4 die 6 or whatever. Sometimes that's actually better off. You can add a point for each level before you declare the spell. So if you say, I want to do 10 die 3 plus 10, that's declared. Now, if you surge high above it, then you're going to add those extra points on as well, if you've come to the max. Let's just say you did 10 die 3 plus 7 like it says in here. The wizard has 38 hit points of damage. 10 die 3 plus 7, 29 points of damage to him or herself on just blasting themselves. You take 29. Blasting out of the wizard is 29 die 4 on the target. Okay? Now, there is a save. Okay? Also, obviously, a minor global vulnerability negates it, right? Broach's shielding will absorb the damage like a magic missile. Yes, minor globe is 1 round per 3 die damage. It reduces the duration of the spell. Yep. So there you go. But this spell is, and you're watching in my games. So next time Flavius is playing or a couple other Wild Mages, there's probably only about 5 in the entire campaign. 29 damage or 27 hit point. No, no, it's not. System shock rolls are 50 or higher. I'm talking about Rawley's Wild Bolt right now, Tim.
Yes.
It's probably the most devastating single target spell in the game.
Wild magic.
Wild magic. Yep, absolutely. So that's one that is that you got to find here. It's an evocation wild magic, and there's all sorts of great. I love this spell. Kaz got neon hit points. It actually puts the hit points above the head of, but it's random who it affects. So you see, ding, 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 and you see how much the hit points they have left. It's kind of.
I have a very slight. I guess the closest thing to wild magic I would have is the potential for crits and fumbles with casting.
Yep. Well, yeah, I can imagine that. Yep.
And I allow casting without preparation. You know,
right.
If you know the spell, you can cast it. It's just that it's dangerous. You could screw it up. So,
all right. So here's a trivia question: who is the highest level wild mage in published source? Don't you answer, Tim?
I have no clue. Yep.
You don't have a clue, Tim? Come on.
No, I love that guy.
I don't have a clue.
Jen doesn't have a clue.
Who is it, Tim?
Emrakul the Chaotic.
Emrakul the Chaotic, and he's listed right in the what is it? The Apocalypse Stone, right? Yeah. So he's Emrakul the Chaotic is a high level. Do you remember now?
Once I found that out, I lost a lot of respect for him.
Really? Okay. Do you remember what happened during the first fundraiser event when you were fighting Emrakul the Chaotic, and Anna, it's the first time she ever played. She was playing Mariel. Do you remember what he did when he cast this spell? Legolas weird wild ball on everyone. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, he rolled poorly and it healed everyone, right?
Yes. So what happened was, and this is the great thing. So this is a wild ball, and there's 20 different effects of like fireball. Fire, magma, earth, ooze, water, ice, you get the idea. And all the way down here, positive energy, number 17, heals the amount of damage rolled. Hit points can go up to twice the maximum, but if you exceed that, the victim explodes. So they were getting their asses kicked. He cast a Legolas Weird Wild Ball on most of the party, and it healed them all.
I'm going to say there were 3 fantastic spell moments in that game.
Yes.
That was one of them. The other one was the Dispel Fatigue or Dispel...
Yeah, Dispel Exhaustion, the Illusionist version.
Yep. The Illusionist one. That was an amazing effect. And...
Yep. And
Funkin'
Tom...
Heidi Peak.
What?
Right?
Funkin'. Oh, yeah, Funkin'. Yeah,
Funkin' Heidi Peak, Tom's character casting feeble.
No, that was Tom the Vindicator.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Tom the Vindicator. He feeble-minded. He feeble-minded the greater Titan, Beholder Titan, right? Yeah. From behind, because it couldn't dispel it because he came from behind on it. Yeah. See, look, and that was our first fundraiser. Now we're at 7.
That was a great moment.
Hey,
Everyone
Baker.
was like...
Yeah. So, yeah, we need what? I'm sorry, Blue. My apologies. But look, so the 20 spell effects random person, 19 roll again, ignoring 19s and 20s. The spell takes a 10-foot radius, victim and caster. So there you go. It's a really crazy spell. Another one from the Great Net Spellbook. So this is one of my favorites. If then is a really useful spell. You can cast it on something. So look, you can put only one if then can exist in a time in a 5-foot radius. So you want to put down, for example, a wizard could cast if then on a doorknob, then direct a fireball into an if then. If the name conditions that the fireball will activate.
It's like a contingency, but not on a person.
Yes. So you can't put if a good creature comes in the room, but you could have the condition if an orc enters the room, for example. Boom. Or something like that. So if-thens are kind of cool. Darling at Creepshow has learned how to use the if-then spell very well. Also note, in the Tome of Magic, there are a lot of Wild Mage spells in the Tome of Magic itself. So if we go to the Wild Magic listing, this is one of here's a character saving spell of all time, and this one is in the Tome of Magic. It's called Alternate Reality. In fact, this happened at GaryCon. So I'll tell you what happened at GaryCon. Bones' character, who's never died, her bandit, right, gets killed as she fails a saving throw. Okay, first time. The Wild Mage, Darling's Wild Mage, is standing right next to it, and she has already had the hand cut off, and has become back to himself, not Asperities. Realizes, man, she's blasted. Casts Alternate Reality, and what Alternate Reality does, it undoes the previous round at one specific instance. Allowed her to redo the saving throw. She's back up. She made her save, and then she's back up. Yes. So Devin did die, even though she says, "Oh well, that doesn't count." It does count. She did die once, and she was dead for one round until the Alternate Reality undid it. So, yeah. Someone cast that in your game area. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. So just note that Wild Mage has got some really cool spells unique to themselves. And you can see Tome of Magic here. Even there's a 7 Sisters spells, Spellstorm, Wand Weird. They're definitely Wild Mage spells. And then you can use Magic Missile, Fireballs, Lightning Bolts, all that. All general Mage spells out of the Arcana are accessible to them in addition to their Wild Mage spells. So, yeah, Tequila. I really love the Wild Mage, but they can't dual cast, they can't multi-class, so they're stuck in their path. So, yeah.
Maybe they'll be successful. Maybe they'll explode into 1,000,000 butterflies. Who knows?
Yes. And maybe they'll kill their own party in a spell failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just note that, it's Nahal's Reckless. Yeah, Nahal's Reckless Dormer. And that's a first level spell that's really nasty too. Nahal's is the one where you can take a surge and you can try and control it. It's a desperation spell if you're out of spells. Yeah. Wild Mages will do it. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's see. Let's do some questions from the audience, and then Tim and Anna, you can take it from there. I've talked enough. No, kill the party. No, Star. So did you like that? You like all the stuff that, there was a lot, wasn't it? It was challenging. Those Elementalists are nasty. Because Star played yesterday, and she has a Mage Assassin.
That's terrible.
It is. She's a mage thief, but then she slipped and told everyone right at the beginning, like, you're not supposed to tell them. But she didn't assassinate anyone. Did official wild magic start in Tome Magic? Correct. Yes. Yes. Now, Zeb Cook created the wild mage. We do not know specifically who created the Elementalist. He had a guess on who did it, and I think he said, let me go to the front cover. I think he said it was Kubasik. I think, but Zeb Cook takes credit for the wild mage.
I use the Elementalist, but I kind of use the Great Net Elemental book.
Yeah, that's a good book too, man.
So you can, it's not so much set as only one type of thing. You can do several, or be a generalist. You can kind of.
Well, that limits that. So, and I don't blame people. I'm the crazy one making spell lists up for everything. Because I'm a control freak, you know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they start out low, you can control access to what they have access to.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
But then comes that time where you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I gave that spell out.
My son made an Elementalist based off of an anime character. I can't remember what his name was.
Well, you have airbenders in your game too, don't you?
Yes, I slaved away making rules for that, only to find like recently that there's a lot of fully developed rules already published. So,
and are they decent?
Some of them are good. I like mine because I'm using the martial arts rules from the Oriental Adventures book, where it's specific martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So they're more like monks
with some spell ability,
and they have different. So their armor classes are different. The ones that are lighter damage, the air and water, have better armor class, lower hit points, and the earth and fire have higher. Their armor class not as good, but they do more damage base.
Oh, okay.
Because they're a little bit more aggressive in their outlook.
Yeah.
Less avoidy, more aggressive. So,
Manfred, it's a lot of work. And Anna's seeing how much work it is. It's a lot of work.
I've worked 5 years on my stuff now. It started like 6 years ago. I announced it as a house rules project.
Yep.
And then I decided a year and a half into it that, damn, I need to, it's not going to cut. And it was simply because I started as a house rules for Pathfinder. Well, I was thinking about when I moved from Pathfinder 1 to either Pathfinder 2, 5e, or whatever. And I realized that I wanted a house rule. And then I was like, no, I build it from the ground up, so to speak. And of course, I take inspiration from all the D&D stuff I've done and played and stuff. But I wanted to take my own take on it, so to speak. So it's my what they call a heartbreaker. If you have the ambition thinking that you can invent the best version of D&D and be rich, and then you got heartbroken because you did all the work. And I have no such ambitions. I know I'm not a fantastic game designer, but I know what I like, and I know the tool I need now for my game. So
absolutely,
that's what I'm creating. So I'm becoming good at figuring out what I need for my game style at my game table. So what I'm trying to create is the tool for my games, and then give it away for free. That's the other part of it. So if you want to have a tweakable rule system for your games, Hawktails might be the one that you want to start with, and then tweak it the way you want it, so to speak, because it will come out in Markdown and PDF form, so to speak, and in Obsidian. So you can get the whole shebang, and then you can tweak it to your heart content, so to speak, because it will be Creative Commons by. So you can basically just, if you want to publish it, you can just credit me, and then you go. And so to speak, so you don't need to pay me anything to do it.
And that's the cool thing.
Yeah, and it's based on 5e and Level Up Advanced 5e. I will use their SRDs plus a bunch of my own ideas on top of it, so to speak. But it will have a basic D&D feel to it. But it will have the 6 base abilities. But then there were 3 more abilities: Comeliness, Presence, and Taint. That are
You're using Comeliness?
Yes, I'm using Comeliness.
Wow.
And it's 3 metaphysical, because I started with D&D physics, So it's basically fantasy physics that guides how the rule system works, how magic works, and senses, and all that stuff. So there's 3 metaphysical abilities: comeliness, presence, and taint, and they guide your presence in the multiverse and your life and your death, so to speak. And it's a kind of a corruption system in a way, but it's one of these things that if you play low level and you want to learn the game, you can ignore them. They come over the career of a character. They start having a kind of an influence, so to speak. So it's the same thing with magic. You can just cast your spells normally, what you do in D&D, but if you want to go to the nether planes or like the lower planes, so you go deep into a IUCN territory or an evil place or something, that's when you can see things happening, or you go into the most fey infested part of the sus forest, for instance, then you can see some magic might be functioning in different ways there than you're used to. Not in a wild sense, but there are certain, instead of ley lines, there are certain effects based on what type of shadow magic, for instance, might be more powerful depending on certain conditions or whatever. So and stuff. So there are things like that can be affected. And there's also more creature types and stuff. So it's a bit like 3E in that sense. There's like 14 different components, and what is it, like 16 different types of damage. Vorpal damage is now a thing. And you have disruption damage and a whole bunch of cool stuff like that are codified into the rules. So a vorpal weapon they do cool, really cool stuff, so to speak, and you can have other. It's one of several forms of magic damage is vorpal. It's like force damage but concentrated. That's vorpal damage. So, but that means that they don't function everywhere, but they might also be very, very powerful in some other ways, so to speak. So there's
So
there's a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah.
So Tim, Sea Mage, we're gonna see one in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you might see one. Yeah, I have a I have one I play tested with my son's group, NPC, and when I was doing the U1, the Sinister Secret Assault Marsh, they rowed out to get to the Sea Ghost, the boat out there, and she ended up casting Shivering Timbers, which caused the deck to buck, and then they all they slipped and fell down. And then they're in their that little rowboat out there. She cast Mass Jump, which is like a 2nd level jump spell, but it basically everyone within 10 feet of you all can do a jump, like the Mass spell. So cool. Everybody like leapt up onto the boat, and that's how they assaulted the boat. So it was like it was a scary fight because my son had one character who was not the fighter at the end facing 2 dudes, and all rolls are out in the open. So it was like, it was scary, wow. But they eventually won that fight.
Nice.
But it was fun.
Well, good. We get to see that then coming up. I always love to see new challenges.
It may be more than.
Yeah, I know.
This is going to be like you're going to see, sea mages are very important to the merchant fleets out there.
Well, I will wait for it to come. I know. So far in is myself, Coco, and Alan says he's in. So those are the 3 I know that are in.
That's good. I want to get a good. I'll make sure that there's plenty for everybody to do. So I'll try to hit the other guys up. Make sure I have stuff.
Very, very cool.
And what monster image was that? The little hedgehoggy.
Oh, that's a Gru, right?
Oh, okay.
Where did I show that?
Yeah.
Oh, right there, scrolling right here. Yeah, that's an Earth Gru, I recall. Hargan Gru, yeah.
Hargan Gru.
Yeah, so you can summon Gru with some of the Elementalist spells. You can summon the Gru from each of the. Yeah.
And as a barbarian cleric.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was
one of your spirit animals.
Yeah, it was a funny thing that the one of I think it was Bella. It was Bella and Rogue Chick that just played 2 weeks ago, right? Brand new players. One was considering playing a barbarian cleric, but then I switched her off of that to a base spellcaster one because it was that's not a class you want to start with.
If you're not familiar with it, no.
Right, with 1E, yeah.
It's more fun when you have the cultural context of it, I think.
Exactly.
Or when you have to chase little pigs around the farmyard.
Well, it happens.
In celebration.
I think that's a great 0 level adventure. Yeah.
Yes.
Find the neighbor's pigs and then
No. So he's talking about N1, where the barbarian was wanted to celebrate, and
because he went up a level, so he wanted to celebrate, and the farmer's like, well, there's the pig, and they went indoors because they were scared of staying out at night.
Yeah, because the cultists are everywhere.
Right, but no one was telling us,
Yeah.
I was at a party when they tried to do that for real life. They wanted to go and say hello to pigs, and there was a big hog, and he bit one of the bucket. So we had to go in because it was bone crushing, there was blood everywhere. So we had to go emergency. Yeah, we had to drive. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was.
You're supposed to do it with piglets. They're supposed to grease
exactly piglets, and it was like the biggest boar that male. Board, whatever the
pigs can eat anything and bones.
Exactly, that one. Oh, it was vicious. So then we said several of us that played D&D said, "Okay, now we know that boars are really dangerous." It was blood everywhere, so a lot of screaming and yelling and blood everywhere.
So, in synopsis here, if you want to start creating these, you want the 2 books that I highly recommend is that published source books is you get Tome of Magic 2nd edition, right? This book here, and then Player's Option Spells and Magic. Because you're going to use this for specialty priests anyway. If you want all the spheres for everything, it's all in here. And there's a whole bunch of great new spells in both. In particular, a ton of Wild Mage spells in the Tome of Magic, which is you're going to need. You're going to need those spells. Then you want the Great Net Spellbook, the Great Net Librum of Wild Magic, and what's the one I'm missing? There was another one. Great Net Elemental Magic. There's 3. Find those. You have enough. You'll never run out of spells. Well, at least for those. But trust me, you can't do Shadow Mages with them. Shadow Mages, you need the Relic and Rituals books. Get those and make Shadow. What's that?
I have one of the spells you contributed to my Sea Mage collection. So,
which one was that?
Sail by the Stars.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, then we have Wild Jump.
It has an LG next to the thing there, Lord Gazumba, for the
cool, man. I appreciate that.
Attribution for the spells. I wrote down all the books all the stuff came from. So
awesome. I appreciate that. And it's just there's a lot of customization is part of the fun of. I think it's part of the fun of 1E, 2E. That's just we've been doing it forever. So, and like I said, our game is not your game. It's not everyone else's. It's not Anna's. It's not anyone else's out there. You just play the game the way you want to play it. Mm-hmm. That's all. I'm just showing you the way we play it. And I'm showing you the way she DMs it, and that's all. And like I said, you got Rob's doing Elementalists in C&C. So there you go. You got another system. So, yeah. Any other questions as we wind down here? Remember, it's a Classic D&D Reprint giveaway night, everyone. So, if you don't have it yet, we still have a World of GREYHAWK Guys Tier Revised. If you don't have it, and I got some other good stuff here. I do have a Tomb of the Lizard King again, thanks to Patrick. Patrick's re-upped to me. So, we got some stuff here. So,
nice.
Yep. Any other questions?
Nope. I got to go to bed. I got to get up at 4 a.m.
Uh-oh.
Do you think WotC will ever reprint the 2E books? Well, you can get them on DriveThruRPG already.
Yeah, and a lot of them you can probably get on print on demand as well.
But I'm hoping, this is my world of J insanity, that the place falls apart and then someone is able to pick up and cut 1E, 2E away from everything else.
Well, we have Ostrich that is a reprint of first edition.
No, but I want an official 1E, 2E.
Well, you have to make it. That's how you, if you want something,
I just said, maybe WotC goes really in the tank and someone's able to buy 1E, 2E off them. There you go.
Well, they don't have to. They can make it without buying. That's what I'm saying. Ostrich is first edition, made without paying a dime to.
I understand that, but if you have 1E, 2E, then you can do whatever the hell you want and not get sued.
Well, you can, thanks to the SRDs and all that, you can basically recreate 1E, 2E, just like you recreated 1E with Ostrich. It's possible. It's just the work of doing it.
Yeah.
So nothing's stopping you except that it takes a heck of a lot of time to do it, but you can definitely do it. You can legally do it too.
You have to cut all sorts of things. It's not.
Well, you just have to No, it might not be worth it, but you can legally do it. Like Ostrich is a perfect recreation of first edition.
Right.
It's the same mechanics. It's just the words are slightly different, but all the mechanics are the same.
it's too much. It's too much. We've seen all the other systems come out with all, and it's fine. But I'm just saying that would be the pipe dream one day. So that's me smoking too much.
But on the other hand, you have the 1E, 2E books. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get the PDFs. So there's all the options are there. It's just you have the easy option, get the PDFs from Drive-Thru or DM's Guild, or buy the old books on eBay or whatever, or write your own. Yeah.
Yeah, the other hope is if they would do a reprint edition. They did 25th. Yeah, they did 25th. They did the reprints in the gold books. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, Tim, you got to roll, man. Thanks for hopping on, dude.
That was fun.
Yeah, definitely,
Good
man.
seeing you again.
I know you're not going to be available for this year's 24-hour stream, which is okay.
I might be able to be episodic. We'll see.
Episodic? What's that?
I won't be able to be there for all 24 hours.
Well, you got to let me know because it's only 2 weeks away.
I know.
All right. Let me know, like, if you can.
I may or may not be there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man.
It was so fun to see you guys when you've done was like 18 hours, 14 hours, 15, 18 hours or something.
This time we're starting in the morning. We're not starting at night and then having that dead time all throughout the night. We're going to play until we're done, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. So by 10 o'clock at night, after 12 hours, we'll know kind of where we are. My guess is 18 to 20 hours is my guess is where we'll finish. That's a guess. Yeah. That's a guess. 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock. That's my guess. As to where we'll end up, but it could be wrong because Belgian speaking, I've been prepping it up, making some changes. Oh yeah. Oh,
you're doing one big one instead of multiples.
One big one, 5 base characters, 2 special guests every so many hours. So here, let me just bring this up and real quick, and we'll discuss that before you leave, so you understand what's going on. Here and yes, so let me bring this up for everyone. Here we are. I'll reveal it. All right, let me switch this over. Okay, so on July 5th. All righty. So let me do the shout out page here. I think it's All Star, is it? Nope, it's this one, Saturday Special. Okay, so the group is Coco's playing Farmland. Tim is playing Tim DeTruly. Korg's playing Maram. Curtis is playing Fritz Winchester. And Brett's playing Erebus like he always does. So, yesterday, at the end of the adventure, in with the Dark Brotherhood, guess what they found? Do you have any idea, Tim?
No.
Okay. Well, here, let me go to the adventure, and they found this in a scroll tube. You like that? Yes. Which is in here.
Yep.
So there you go.
Adventures.
Yep. See, Demetrius the Sage. Yes, so that's what they found. The Nuclear Meat Group, and 3 of the members from Nuclear Meat are in the game. Now, first 2 hours, starting at 10, Rachel and Mark from Marquee Gaming, who have Yvette and Solus, those characters are in, probably for 5 hours. So from 10 to 3, they're in. 6 o'clock p.m., Rosie's coming in from Darling Creepshow, her thief, and Ed Greenwood is coming in as Ravalantar at 6 o'clock. That leaves a gap between 2 or 3 and 6, and after late night. So, yes. Super late night. Because I don't know, but the problem is I don't know how long the adventure is going to go. That's the problem. So I don't want someone to be sitting around at midnight and the adventure is going to end. You know what I mean? I just don't know. Ed said he'll stay on as long as he possibly can. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a blast. So that is in 2 Saturdays. So if you can make it from 2 to 6, Tim, there you go. Boom. In and out, man. It's up to him. So,
excellent.
Yes. All righty. Why don't you roll, man? I know you got to go. So, yeah, out. And
adios, everyone.
We'll do the giveaways and the rest of the shout outs. So,
see ya.
Tim, thanks, man, for coming on.
Yeah. Good seeing you.
All righty. 24 hours coming. All right, Anna, what's going on with you?
First of all, thank you everyone for being patient with me, because I've been been reorganizing my office. I had a monitor, my main monitor that was 15 years old or 14 years old or something like that. I bought it before I actually moved here. I bought it, put it here in the house before I moved here. And it broke down, and that was the only monitor that I had that was color corrected and all of that stuff. So and one of the other ones had already started to fail, so my side monitor. So I realized that was 10 years old. So I needed. So I bought a Samsung G9 57-inch 4K 8K monstrosity. So now I have a huge monitor here, and I reinstalled my streaming computer and stuff too. So the one I'm using here. So thank you so much for everyone who had patience with me being gone for a little bit, so to speak. So yeah. So now I'm up and running again, and everything seems to. Except I bought a billboard, but it's really great because I can do streaming. I can have my stuff on in the middle. I can do all sorts of cool stuff at the same time on one big screen. So it's really cool. So I was going to have I'm putting the last bit of editing into a fairly long article, blog post about hawktails and magic in hawktail. I was supposed to get it done today, but I had a great conversation with Brian Bloomklotz, so I can't blame him. Yeah, so it was good. So that's why I'm a little bit delayed with that. So that is coming for my mid-tier patrons and everybody in like a week or so, and mid-tier patrons fairly soon. And there will be a series of different aspects of hawktails leading up into the convention season, and I will also announce new play sessions for like playtest sessions coming fairly soon, and I'm gearing up for that is one side, and also the first big part of the new Shieldlands map is soon ready. It's trees and the civilization are left to do, so to speak. So I'm starting to come up. I rendered the last bit there, so and there's a whole bunch of them more in the pipeline, and they look gorgeous. They really look cool. So that will be a huge addition to, or the first parts of the new generation of GREYHAWK maps that look really good. So they're coming. So thank you again for everybody. I got some more patrons coming in. There will be way more content coming now that I'm up and running again, so I can start producing. I've been a week of not able to work really on anything.
Yeah,
I've redone my I realized that once I started pulling out cables or whatever, I basically redone my whole desk and all of that stuff, so to speak. So it's almost completely done now, and things are up and running again. So yeah.
So tonight's going to be weird because Darling's not on tonight, and Marquis not on tonight. I got to figure out who I'm going to raid into tonight.
Yeah,
this is going to be I may try a channel we've never done before. How about that?
Sure, I'll take a look. You got some good luck with that.
Yeah, I'll take a look on here. Yeah, so I thank you, Bob. That's cool. Here.
Hello, Dale. Yep.
Here we go. What is going on? Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to bring up a separate screen so I can look through some channels as I'm multitasking, because I should have been doing that earlier when Tim and Anna were talking, but I always forget to do. I'm always one step behind, it appears lately. All right, let me just bring that up. We're good. Good. Okay. All right. So here we go for real quick. We'll do this. Boom. Grey Grimoire 5 reveal. Okay. So, awesome. Wednesday, the number 300. Yep. I know there's a Roger Moore article in it. So very cool. All right. Number 300 for Legends and Lore.
And what little I can see of the cover art looks fantastic.
I have it here. Give me 1 second. I'll bring up the whole. It's kind of dark. Kind of dark here.
Then I think I like it even more.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, that's
wow.
Yep. Grey Grimoire 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there you go on that. Finally finishing Lidless Shabbath because I've had enough. I can't take it. I mean, it's so crazy, insane. I mean, I literally I've almost killed the party 2 straight weeks in a row. I'm talking about.
What is that adventure?
What's that?
What kind of adventure is that?
It's basically I put it in the Yatils, This guy was a rival of Igwolf, disappeared from the word.
It's like a third-party adventure somewhere.
Oh yeah. It's Advanced Adventures, but it's for levels 12 to 15. It is
Yep.
grotesque. I mean, there's literally, and I can't do it this way. I don't old school crawl anymore like this. There's 300 trolls on the first level. It's insane. It's just too much. So I got you, Dale, on the up there. But yeah, but we're finishing this on Thursday, just because I got something I want to try on July 3rd. Next we go. Saturday, we got the Bone Baddies and Stolen Kills. So there you go with that group. I may be adding one more player to this. So I got 5 right now. I asked Violence, Heather Heck. She wasn't available.
Yeah. I'm with you, Moose. 300 is not enough. You need more.
It's disgusting. And all the other stuff. So that is Saturday, 12:30, because Dessa doesn't get out of his job till noon. So that'll be a 12:30, like 4 or 5 one, late afternoon one, not early like yesterday. And then we already talked about this next week. That is on Saturday, July 5th, over the weekend. The 24-hour stream starts at 10 a.m. Now, I'm going to test a new show on a Thursday night. Okay? So I'm going to call it Old School GREYHAWK AD&D Academy. And I kind of do this with my Saturday groups, but a lot of people aren't available on the weekends that I want to bring in other streamers, some other personalities. So I'm going to have, when I'm out, at least 2 of my own players, which I'm going to be on July 3rd. I'm going to bring in some people with like 1 or 2 veterans. My guys are welcome to do it as well. And we're starting at 3rd level, and we're going to introduce them to playing in GREYHAWK old, first 1E2E. So that's what we're doing. All right, it's going to be on Thursday night, not on Saturday morning. So whether it's an existing group like the children, the Ladies of Avon, or it's a brand new group, we'll see. So that's what we're going to do, and that's going to be a week from Thursday, July 3rd will be, and then again on July 17th. So those are the 2 dates that we're going to. It may be the same adventure running between them, but I'll have my guys in on the 10th. So July 3rd, July 17th, we're going to try it out and see what happens. Trying to bring more people into the community, So that's what's going on. All right.
Yeah.
And also, they have not even closed out the Twitch front page desk yet, so I don't even know if I'm.
Oh, you don't know if you will be on the front page.
Chef, I'm behind, man. I promised to have it by Wednesday night. Everything virtual gratin stuff. It's the first weekend in October, so it's October 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Right? I promise I'll get it up. I'm sorry. I'm running so far behind. That's my fault. I will get it. I will get to that. 100%. Thank you for reminding me. All right, let's see who wins the giveaway tonight. Well, I got to get it moving, or we're not going to have anyone attending. So yeah. All right, let's call exclamation point drawing here as I get to the giveaway. All right, I'm going to close it out. The winner tonight is Rob Phantom NJ.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha, Rob.
He earned it. Yeah.
I'm going to give you, you almost have everything, so we're going to give you some Necromancer Games ones, because I know you don't have them. All right, I'll give you them. So, yep. Rob almost died on Saturday. He got put in the negatives, but the NPC saved him. So, there you go. All righty. I'll send you a message in Discord, Rob, tomorrow morning, what I'm gonna send you. Just let me know. Hey, you don't have those. So, all right, let's. We're going to raid into Sparkles Mandy. I think I have no idea who it is. Anyone know? It looks like they got a good game going on though. And it says 18 plus, which I like on the stream, and they're using VTT, so it looks cool. So why not? They have how many followers? 1.2 thousand. So they're not super small, but why not, right? Because we're gonna do that. So sound like a plan? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good here. Let me get to. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's D. I want to do someone who's D&D tonight. I want to do D&D tonight. So, all right. See you all. Hang in there for this, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks, Anna. That was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Hitting the wrong button. 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 All right, we got that. Yeah, that'll put them well over 100. Button here, button there. Too many buttons. Just to try and raid into someone, you know? Alright, here we go. Starting it up. Nice. Put him over 100. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you soon. See you Wednesday. Thank you.